This video is designed to provide samples of brief motivational interviewing interventions with child welfare clients. These brief interventions are to be used as a learning tool and are not meant to provide expert examples. The following interviewers are presented to not only provide an example of strong MI skills in action, but also as a discussion topic for how MI skills may have been more strongly utilized. According to Miller and Rolnick, 2002, change involves at least two dimensions: importance of making the change and confidence in one's ability to make the change. Our client can come to us being either high or low on both dimensions, or high in one and low in the other. In the following scene, the client is high in importance in having her children returned to her and has low confidence that she can complete her reunification plan. Self-perception theory tells us that people perceive themselves as they hear themselves talk. Thus, it would be counterproductive for the social worker to try to convince the client that she is doing well, as the client will most likely argue even more that her task is impossible. She will see herself as someone who can't meet the requirements of her plan. If the social worker can get the client to discuss previous success and her goals towards the future, the client may be more likely to perceive herself as able to meet the goals of her plan. Of course, there may be contextual issues that impact our clients, such as multiple demands, drug cravings, poverty, and the like. Providing some supports in these areas can be helpful. In this video, we meet Samantha, who has had her children removed due to her drug use. She is overwhelmed with her case plan, and her lack of confidence in her ability to succeed is causing her despair. She is ready to give up. The target behavior is to motivate Samantha to continue to work on the tasks of her case plan. In the following interview, consider these questions. How did the social worker roll with the client's resistance? How did she get the client to talk about her past successes and future plans? What kind of impact did this have on the client? How did she affirm and support the client? What else could the social worker have done? Were there missed opportunities?
Well, Samantha, today's our monthly visit, and I just wanted to check in with you and see how things were going with your plan.
They're not going well. I've got too much to do. Too much to do. I don't know what to do. I need help.
Okay.
I'm overwhelmed. Really overwhelmed.
So there's a lot on your plate right now.
You guys put a lot on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do this. You guys did this. Do you know what all I have to do? I have drug classes 4 times a week. I have to drug test. I have parenting classes, and I've got AA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, wouldn't you be overwhelmed?
It sounds very difficult.
It is difficult. Could you do it?
That's a great question. I don't know. Tell me about how you're managing with it.
Right now, I'm not. I'm overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a car. I have to get to these classes at night. Drug testing is random. They can call you anywhere from 6 to 9 in the evening. It's too much. It's too much. Then I've got AA 3 times a week, parenting classes. I've got 3 children. Duh. I don't know. It's too much. It's much too much. I can't do it.
So right now you're feeling like it's just so much that there's no way that you can carry through this plan and get this done.
I can't do this plan that you've got laid out for me to be done in 12 months so I can get my children back.
And the pressure's on with the clock ticking.
I've got 5 months. 5 months left.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have all of these classes to do. I can't do it. I'm just ready to just throw in the towel.
Okay.
I can't do it.
You're really frustrated.
I am really frustrated. I want my children.
And that's your goal.
That's my goal. So are you guys going to help me with what?
Well, let me ask you this. You've been doing this for 7 months.
Yes.
Okay. What's been going well with it?
What's been going well with it? Nothing. because I cannot get everything done. Nothing is going well. I don't have transportation, I don't have money, and I understand you guys have bus tickets. Nobody told me about that. I need to get around.
Okay, so finances are becoming a problem for you too.
Becoming a problem. They're always a problem. You've got my children.
Okay. Well, I wonder if it'd be okay if I could share a little bit of information with you about the bus tickets.
Sure.
That's certainly something we can look into. In fact, before I even leave today, I can call the Community Action Center and see about getting you some bus tickets.
I have to pick them up because I don't have a car.
No, they would mail them to you.
Oh, really? Are you sure? Ooh, that'll work.
So that might help a little
Yes,
bit.
absolutely.
Yeah. But you have been doing so well. You know, you have been going to your classes, you have been drug testing, you've been clean up until recently. So I'm just wondering what's been going on with you.
I'm giving up again. I can't do it. I'm trying to do everything that's been asked of me, and I just can't do it. I can't be in two places at one time like the system wants me to be. I can't do that.
Okay, it's just gotten to be too much.
It's way overwhelming.
Yeah.
I need help.
Okay. Well, today when we, meet together, let's think about, or I was wondering if you would be willing to think about how you would like to use this time with me. Would you like to talk about your drug classes? Would you like to talk about the drug testing, the parenting classes? Like, which piece of your plan would you like to focus on?
Whatever I need to do to get my children.
So it feels like just all of it right now.
All of it right now is overwhelming. With you offering the bus tickets, that's going to get me around. I can get to the drug testing. I can get to the AA meetings in the morning, possibly the parenting classes in the early afternoon, and then, just take it from there.
Okay. So it sounds like you do have some ideas about how you could work your schedule to fit this all together.
Oh, yeah, I even wrote it down. So you and those that are making these decisions, the judges, your boss, can see that it's totally impossible.
Okay.
It can't be done. You guys are setting us up to fail. You're setting me up to fail.
Okay. So you, on the one hand, you have been doing it and you wrote it all down to show the schedule to me and to the judge. But, and on the other hand, you've been working and carrying this out. So I'm wondering what's going on about that.
What's changed is I've started, my friends are gone. My loser friends, my meth friends, they're gone. And I've gotten my friends back from the church back in my life.
Okay, so you've been working on doing some positive things for yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I have the church bus pick me up on Sundays, and I go to church. And now I'm involved with the children's ministry again. And they give me a ride home. Some of the members offer to take me to dinner after church. And I have them, they call and check on me, and I have them to call if I need to talk to them.
So you're getting some real positive people in your life.
Yes, again, finally.
Yeah, and they're giving you support.
Yes, and I like that. They keep telling me to hold on, that I'm going to get my children back. And I believe that.
Okay. So even with all of this feeling so overwhelmed, you still found the time to reach out and to get some positive help.
I have to.
Yeah.
And if not, I'll be back at the meth spot doing what I do.
Okay. So as you look down the road, say 5 months from now, and you're doing all the things you need to do, what do you see your life as being like?
Well, I expect to have my children back, and we'll be continuing to go to the church. They'll become involved in the little choirs that they have and the Thursday night meetings that they have for the children. They'll be going that. I get to follow them to school. I get to take them to school, and I can stay there with them if I'd like. It's just going to make me a better person. It'll make me the person that I was and that I want to be.
Okay. So you see that as you go forward and you look forward, your life will be where you want it to be.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Only I can make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now you are making it happen.
Kind of, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I just get so discouraged because there's just so much to do
Mm-hmm.
and so little time.
Yeah. Well, when you look back, when things were going well for you, you know, I know you used to work, you had a job before your company laid off everybody. You had these 3 kids. You know, what was it like to be so busy, and what was that like for you?
It was fun. Living with the various personalities of the children, learning them learning me.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Even though you were juggling a job, getting up in the morning, getting them breakfast, getting them ready for school,
I
getting
had
yourself out the door.
Reason to do that was my children.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind the juggling. I knew it was going to be invested in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to put into the piggy bank. That was a good time for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you think about how busy you were, the thing that kept you going, even like raising 3 kids by yourself isn't easy. The thing that kept you going was knowing that you had these relationships with your kids and how much you loved them.
And investing in their
Mm-hmm.
lives, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
they
maybe
can-
those kinds of things can help you in the future.
I expect that they will.
Mm-hmm.
I expect them to keep me on target,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure they will.
Okay. So, you know, as you think about these kinds of things and how you love your children, you're realizing that these things are really important to you and keeping you on target.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
they're very real to me.
Okay. And helped you do things like tell your user friends to go away and stay out of your life.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. There's no place for them in my children's
Mhm.
lives.
Yeah.
And so if they can't be a positive part, they can't be there.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that. I told them.
Okay. And you did it yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because you love your children.
Yes, and because they needed to hear it from me
Mm-hmm.
and nobody else.
Mm-hmm. So you have been taking these positive steps. Got rid of your user friends. You've been going back to church. You keep thinking about what it would be like having your kids back and being all involved in all the kids' activities at church.
Yes.
So you really are taking a lot of positive steps in the right direction.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
You're the one that's been doing them.
So what can we do with the parenting classes that are 3 times a week?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the AA, which is also at night.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way you can help me work that out or work a schedule where I can get these things in a timely manner so it won't be an issue to get my children when it's that time?
Okay. So you're worried about if you go to AA, then you miss your parenting class, and if you go to the parenting class, you miss AA,
Exactly.
and you're worried about how that might get in the way of your plan.
Exactly. And how it's going to look to the judge when I have an evening drug test and I can't get there
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in this class and it shows up as a no-show, but they count it as a dirty.
Mm-hmm. Well, what are your thoughts on how to juggle all of these?
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I'm just doing what I can, when I can, one day at a time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you were to juggle these this week, what might your schedule look like?
This week I would do my parenting classes because I only have 6 weeks to get those done. I would do those this week.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not all of them, but I could knock out at least 2 of them
Okay.
this week, 2 the following week.
Okay.
That is going to take the least amount of time.
Okay. So you do the parenting classes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what else?
I do the parenting classes, and then I have my mandatory drug testing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's random, so they can call it any time. I don't know how to fit that in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that's going to work. I'm looking at knocking down 1 bar at a time. So if I get the parenting classes over, then I can focus on, okay, they're going to call me anytime for the random drug testing, and I still have my AA meetings, which I can do in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how all this is going to work out. I just don't know.
Okay. So it sounds like you do have a plan, though.
I'd like to think I have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have like needing 2 more parenting classes and 12 months has gone by and now my parental rights have been severed and now they're talking adoption with my children or permanency. I don't want that to happen. I need help.
Okay. Would it be okay with you if I gave you some information
Certainly.
about, just because you missed a class or 2, the judge would not remove your children. What the judge is looking for is that you're working towards complying with your plan.
Okay.
And you are doing all those things, and you are making a lot of steps in the right direction. And that's what the judge is going to be looking for. How long have you been clean now?
Honestly, 2 months.
Okay. So for the past 2 months, you've been clean?
Yes.
Okay. So you even worked through these last 7 months, you've worked, you struggled, and you've got to the point where you said, this is it, goodbye to the friends, I'm going to work on staying abstinent, and I'm going to work on going to my meetings.
Correct.
Okay. If you were the judge and you heard that story, what would you think?
I'd say give her children back.
Okay. Well, I can't guarantee that to you, but I can say in many cases what the judge is looking for is that you are doing all the right things.
Okay.
And it certainly sounds like you are. It also sounds like you've hit a hump right now where you're having like trouble thinking, how is this all going to work out? How's this all going to finish? But yet you have a lot of plans. You already have a lot of things that you've done.
But what happens if my plans fall through?
So you're worried that maybe you can't keep on these.
I'm not worried, but it does stay in the back of my mind. I'm trying to do everything to succeed, but what if I fail? What if I don't make it? What if I slip?
Okay.
Are they just going to keep my children? I can't live without my children.
Yeah, your children are the most important thing to you.
They are the most important thing to me.
And holding on to those memories of the happy times will really be helpful for you.
I hope so. I hope so.
So thinking about, before we meet next month, what kinds of things can you do to really hold on to that dream and to meet that dream?
I'm going to continue to focus on what I need to do by any means necessary, getting to my parenting classes, doing the random drug testing when they call, going to the AA meetings. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to continue with my church because I really like them people. And not listen to a whole lot of other people's advice.
Okay.
Start listening more to my heart and doing what is right.
So as you listen to your heart, what's it telling you?
It's telling me to do what's right and get my kids back.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now that you have watched the interview, review the following. How did the social worker roll with the client's resistance? How did she get the client to talk about her past successes and future plans? What kind of impact did this have on the client? How did she affirm and support the client? What else could the social worker have done? Were there missed opportunities? In this video, the social worker is meeting with a client, Leilani, for the first time since her court hearing. She has had her children removed. One of the first tasks is for the social worker to engage her and begin to establish a helping relationship. In MI, we do this by using ORs, open-ended questions, affirmations, reflective listening statements, and summaries. In using these skills, we learn what the client's perspective is on her situation. Hopefully, she perceives that the social worker is listening to and focusing on her without judgment, but with empathy. Leilani has multiple behavior change needs, including addressing her case plan tasks and her depression that developed after the birth of her second child. In the following interview, consider these questions. How did the social worker use open-ended questions? What were the different reflective listening statements that the social worker made? How did she affirm the client? And what was the client's response? Were there times the social worker may have utilized even more reflective statements or summaries? Were there missed opportunities?
Hi, Leilani. It's good to have you here today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
The last time we met was at court last week for your dispositional hearing, and at that time you signed your case plan, your attorney was there, and we agreed to some of the services. We developed the case plan together, and so today I wanted to talk with you a little bit about your case plan and how you're doing with your compliance and meeting some of your services. So if we could talk a little bit about that today.
I've had a little bit of difficulty getting a hold of someone at the counseling.
Hard to get a hold
Hard
of
to get
them.
a hold of somebody. I have made it to an NA meeting. I
Good.
plan to make another one this
Good.
week. That's about as far as I've gotten so far.
So you've attended a NA meeting and you've tried to get a hold of somebody at counseling, but haven't been able to reach anybody
Yeah, it
there.
seems real hard to get a hold of, and just been having a real hard time with dealing with all of this.
It's been really tough for you.
It has. It's
Yeah.
It's been pretty tough on me. There's a lot of things I have to do to be successful to get my kids back.
There's a lot to do, a lot to accomplish before the children can come home, it sounds like.
It seems like an awful lot for just an accident.
Right, right. So pretty overwhelming having the kids removed after the accident with the fire in your home. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get on track and get all of it taken care of, get my NA, my counseling, my mental health, my drug counseling. Get that taken care of as soon as possible.
Those are a lot of things to do. The mental health counseling, the NA, and a lot of things on your shoulders right now.
Yeah, I really don't think the counseling is going to work, but I'm willing to give it a try.
You've had counseling in the past, is that right?
I have had some counseling in the past, and I just didn't feel like it was for me. It didn't do any good. It was a waste of time. But this is something I have to do to get my kids back.
So the counseling was a waste of time.
I felt it was, my opinion. I do.
Tell me a little bit more about your experience with the counseling before.
I don't think I clicked with the counselor. I don't think that he saw my view of things. I don't think that, I just don't think it was a good mix. I don't think that he understood where I was coming from. It just wasn't for me.
You and the counselor were not on the same page.
We weren't.
Yeah.
We definitely were not. So I'm kind of resistant for the counseling, but like I said, I know I have to do it.
So on one hand, you realize you're resistant about the counseling because of your past experience with it, but on the other hand, you know you do need to go forward with that.
Yeah, I know the judge made it very clear that I have quite a few things to take care of before I'll get my kids back at home. And I'm willing to do those things. So that's what I'm here for, to find out exactly how I can get started, if I can get some help getting started, some ideas, something.
So you heard the judge clearly about what you needed to do to have the children returned, and you're willing to work towards that.
Yeah, definitely.
You're just looking for some ideas on how to do that.
I'm looking for some ideas to hopefully get it done as soon as possible. I don't like the visitations. I really don't like the visitations. I feel like somebody's watching me with my own children. It's an uncomfortable feeling. I just want my kids at home.
The visitations are hard because they're not like having the kids at home.
It feels fake, like people are just watching us and we can't be how we always are, and it's just an uncomfortable, uneasy feeling.
Doesn't feel natural at all.
It doesn't feel natural.
No,
It doesn't
no.
feel right.
No.
For just
no.
an accident, I have to have supervision
Yeah.
with my own children.
Doesn't even feel right that you have to have the observed visits. Yeah.
So I just really want to, I'm hoping you can help me find out what I can do to speed up the process, to get my counseling, to get this taken care of as soon as possible. It's just been a nightmare.
You sound very motivated in making the changes that you need to make in order to have the children come home.
Yeah, I definitely am motivated to do it. Sometimes the days are harder than others. To get out of bed, to deal with everyday life, sometimes it's really hard, but I know that I want my kids back.
Just getting out of bed is hard with the depression that you've had. And
yeah, having the baby all day doesn't help. The baby cries a lot, and I don't ever have any time just to myself to go get my nails done or get my hair done or just to read a book or anything. It's always about the baby and the kid. My daughter, I have to take her to school, and she's gone for most of the day, and the baby just has been colicky and just doesn't stop crying and crying and crying. It's just never ending, and I don't have any help. I don't have any help with babysitting or someone that will take it for a little bit.
so before the children went into placement, you had a big job on your hands with a colicky baby, getting your 6-year-old to school, and then coming home having to tend to the baby all the time, and no time for yourself.
No time for myself. When I take a shower, I take the baby in there with me. Everything's with the baby, and it's hard sometimes.
No time for yourself at all, but some childcare would be helpful, is what you're
Yes.
saying.
That's actually what I was going to ask you, if there's any way I can get help with some childcare when the kids do come home. I think I want to be successful when they come home. I don't want to feel so overwhelmed like I do now. I just can't get anything done. The dishes, the vacuuming, because I'm with the baby. I just need to get some kind of clearance for myself to gather my thoughts, to think about things, and
Sure.
just to get on the right
Sure.
track. I think childcare would be a big help.
Could I tell you a little bit about some of our childcare resources?
Sure.
We do have programs once the children are returned for some respite care for parents, and that would be something that we would be able to offer you to give you some time for yourself, because doing your nails and some of those things like you mentioned are very important things. And that would be something that we could offer you once the children are returned, once you've completed your services and your case plan.
That sounds really nice. It does sound really nice. I can use all the help I can get now, and I'm hoping this is just a rough patch that we can get through, and with the help of counseling and daycare and getting my children back at home,
Right.
maybe we'll be okay.
You've mentioned the rough patch, and what was it like before that rough patch? What was it like being a mom to both of the kids at that time, when things were better?
When things were better, or just during a rough patch?
Prior to the rough patch.
It was a brand new baby. My daughter, when she was first born, she's 6 years old now, was just taking her to school, all her first steps, her first words, there was a lot of good things. And it seems with my second baby, now that I'm single, that things just are so much harder, and I can't do it by myself, it seems like.
So being single has really made a difference there.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's definitely hard to do things, but I love my kids. I enjoy them. I love their faces, and they're worth all the work.
You're very committed and love those children very much.
Yeah,
You're ready to make some changes to get the children back.
I am. I am willing to do anything at this point to get my babies back.
So we're going to get back together next week. What do you think that you can, what would you like to be able to come back and have accomplished by next week? Say by next Tuesday.
I'm hoping to have got in touch with someone at both the mental health and my drug counseling classes. I'm hoping to, if I haven't already met with someone for an initial visit, at least have an appointment, have some kind of goal that, okay, I know that this date I'm going to go make this appointment. I'm going to at least have another couple NA meetings in, it's rough sitting there listening in NA, but I hear some really good stories, and I look forward to going to the NA meetings, and I'm hoping to have my appointment set up so I can go ahead and get started.
You're feeling encouraged
I am.
by those things.
I am. I
Yes.
definitely am. My kids are what motivates me.
So you're feeling encouraged, and you feel like by next week you can have some things accomplished.
I'm hoping to. I'm hoping
You
to.
sound very
Definitely
strong.
hoping to.
You sound very strong.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a hard time, but I'll get past it. We'll get past it.
Okay, well, would it be okay with you to get back together next Tuesday then?
I think I'd like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now that you have watched the interview, please reflect on the following questions. How did the social worker use open-ended questions? What were the different reflective listening statements that the social worker made? How did she affirm the client? And what was the client's response? Were there times the social worker may have utilized even more reflective statements or summaries? Were there missed opportunities? Sometimes we have clients for whom both importance and confidence to change are low. In this scene, Steve is a returning veteran from Iraq. He came home to find that his wife had had a baby to another man. They already had a 3-year-old. His wife and the new baby's father were caught up in some drug dealing, and both are in prison. Steve has agreed to take custody of the 2 children, though he is ambivalent about this. CPS has told him that he needs to work on his own alcohol issues and attend parenting classes. He is overwhelmed and is thinking that maybe he should re-enlist and go back to Iraq. His social worker meets with him. Complex reflections are statements that go beyond what the client is saying. Sometimes, social workers think that doing so puts words in the client's mouths. Research has shown that complex reflections move clients even more quickly in the change process. In the following interview, what types of reflection listening statements did the social worker make? Which ones were simple and which were complex? How did the complex reflections move the conversation along? How did the social worker support Steve's autonomy? What were some of the traps that the social worker could have fallen into? How did she avoid them? Were there missed opportunities?
Steve, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Carrie, for, I guess, calling me in.
Yeah.
I wonder what you want to talk to me about. I think I have an idea.
Well, yeah, I wanted to get a sense of how things are going. How are things from your point of view?
They're slow. I'm still trying to find that job. The kids, they're driving me crazy. I know you heard about the latest incident. So, I'm still working on that alcohol. And I really don't know. I mean, kind of at the point to where I'm not sure if I want to go back to Iraq or trying to be a dad. I mean, it's overwhelming. I don't really know what to do.
You're really torn right now.
I'm not quite sure. It's like I try to do everything I can, and he never quits crying. The 1-year-old, he's got colic or something. My son, he's fine. It's like I have no help. I'm not getting a job. I'm pretty getting fed up. Now you guys want me to do this extra class you mentioned on the phone?
You're doing your best to be a good dad. You're already overwhelmed, and now it feels like one thing more is just too much.
Well, my day's already pretty full as it is. I wake up, I put on my shoes, I go looking for work. I have the kids with me all day. It's not like I ever have them leave my side. And I'm going to my meetings for this alcohol stuff. And now you want me to go to this parenting class. And I really don't see the use of it.
You're wondering if it's going to be any value to you.
Yeah, like basically what for, what's it going to give me, and is it even going to help me? I mean, I don't know.
You're hoping that if you go, there's something in it for you, that you're going to come out with something.
Well, either that or it's a complete waste of my time.
Yeah, you're pretty overwhelmed already. When we talked on the phone, you were telling me some of the different things you're already doing well to be a good dad.
Yeah, I give them a roof over their head and I feed them food.
Yeah.
What more do you want out of me?
Yeah, and it feels like the parenting class is just one thing too much.
Well, yeah, it's not putting food on the table and not putting a roof over their head.
Yeah, taking time that you don't feel that you have to spare.
Somewhat. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't have time for my kids. I'm just saying it's like you guys are asking a lot of me that seems like this class is poppycock, so I'm not sure what you... I need help, but I'm not sure what kind.
Yeah. Yeah, being a good dad is really important to you. You feel like you need some help and you need some resources. You're just not sure that going to the parenting class is going to answer that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what are some things you might like some help with? I mean, what would feel like more supportive to you?
I'm so overwhelmed with these kids, I don't even know.
If you just knew.
If I just knew.
If you just knew what you needed, then you might know how to get it.
Maybe something with daycare or just on how to handle these kids. I mean, how do you discipline a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old?
Yeah.
Don't know how to make the 1-year-old quit crying, and it's like he's doing something bad by crying. I don't know how to put up with none of this stuff.
It feels like a lot to tolerate, and you're not sure how to get through it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe some ideas about how to balance parenting, how to balance one that you feel is acting well, one that isn't acting as well. How do you talk to a 1-year-old? Things like that, maybe.
Do you talk to a 1-year-old?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. Yeah. It sounds like you would be interested in some resources, maybe even some skills or some options about working with your kids.
Well, I know they're a long shot from being a soldier. That's about it.
Yeah. It's a real choice and a real commitment.
I don't know. Do they have any other family, maybe? I was thinking about going back to Iraq, actually. And, I don't know.
Yeah, you had mentioned that before, this sense of being torn between...
I don't know. It seems like I've never quit nothing in my life, and now I have these kids, and at the same time I don't want to walk away, but I really don't know what to do.
Yeah, you're not sure what to do, and yet you don't want to walk away from those kids.
No.
Yeah, the question is how best to stay, and it really is your choice. No one could make that for you. Even if somebody wanted to, no one could make your mind up for you. I mean,
well, let's say if I did go to this class, like, you think it's really going to help me?
Well, it sounds like a question in your mind. Will this really help me? Yeah. So at this point, you're thinking maybe you need to learn a little bit more about what it would have to offer you, whether it's a good choice or not for you.
Now that you've watched this interview, consider the following questions again. What different types of reflection listening statements did the social worker make? Which ones were simple and which were complex? How did the complex reflections move the conversation along? How did the social worker support Steve's autonomy? What were some of the traps that the social worker could have fallen into? How did she avoid them? Were there missed opportunities? For more information on motivational interviewing, please contact the Northern California Training Academy.